Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm in a bit of a different location now because it's actually New Year's Day. And since there was a lot of fireworks yesterday, the sky is gray and this is the best lighting position that I was able to get at my parents' house. We are also accompanied by... Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. This cute little dog. But he might pop in and out of this video. But the reason we're here is because I have this foundation that I want to test out with you guys. Now, the backstory for this one is, in December, I got a surgery. I got my tonsils removed, which all went fine, but I wasn't able to do anything for weeks. So what does a girl do? She buys magazines. And what are the magazines that I love? Fashion and beauty. So I was reading a lot about fashion stuff, but there's always a lot of beauty pages in those L's and Vogues as well. And all of them seem to mention this foundation. One of them even had a little interview with Peter Phillips, who is the beauty creative director for DIOR. And he was promoting this and color me intrigued. And when I saw some best of videos by Michelle Wong and Morgan Turner, they also mentioned this one. So I had to try it. Now, what are we testing? We are testing the DIOR Forever Skin Perfect Foundation Stick. Now, this is a multi-use foundation stick. And what Peter Phillips actually said in his interview was that, I believe, he said that he also used this as a concealer. And I got the impression that you didn't really need to set it. So I know I'm gonna love this. Side note, I already wore it yesterday and I did love it. But there are two questions that I wanted to answer about this foundation, which will be my contribution to the probably quite wide range of reviews that this one has. First of all, how long does it actually last? Will it look drying after 12 plus hours or oily? Because my skin is normal, so it can go either way. And I get the feeling that this stick was a little bit more dry. So that's what I want to know. And then secondly, I want to see if you can use this on its own as a foundation and concealer without any powder on top. I'm gonna do a powderless makeup look for today. So that's what I also want to try out. So I did a wear test yesterday. I wore this foundation for 15 hours. It was New Year's Eve, so it wasn't hard. But yeah, I did that. And I will tell you about the results in a little bit. But what I want to do now is actually see if I can use this as an all-in-one product. I will post some information about this foundation here on the screen. I think it ranges for around 60 euros. I got some money off because my mom had a coupon, so that was great. I'm not sure about the shade range, but I got shade 0N, which appeared to be the lightest shade available. And as you can see, I am quite pale, but I'm not quite white. So, you know, I feel like there should be one shade lighter than this. But then again, I am pretty much at my palest right now, so maybe this is good enough. Yeah, I don't think they had a warm or cool option, but this one actually works fine for me. Oh, fun fact, it's actually a reformulation of a foundation stick that Peter Phillips discovered in 1995. I think he was working as an intern back then, and he fell in love with it. And it was his lifelong dream to reformulate it for 2024, I guess, or any current year. And yeah, we'll see if he succeeded. So let me move you a little bit closer. See, I have you sitting on books right now. The whole situation is a little bit makeshift, but I really just wanted to kick off 2025 with posting a video every Thursday. So some of them might not be the best quality. I'm gonna do makeup and fashion interchangeably, so just a little side note. Okay, let's go. My skin is normal, like I said. I feel like my nose is the part that gets the most oily, and also a little bit the top half of my forehead. I don't have anything on my face right now. I did do some light eye makeup, but the rest will be cream products. I have some hyperpigmentation from blemishes, but at the moment, I don't have any breakouts, I don't think. So that's what we're dealing with. I feel like this will be the best way to start. So when you put this on, it feels kind of stiff, and actually it feels kind of thick too. So you almost wonder if it will actually blend out properly. But then it totally does. So I really shouldn't have been afraid about that. So this is how I applied it yesterday. And now, because I'm also going to use it as a concealer, I'm gonna put some directly underneath my eyes as well. I saw a lot of people, well, actually not a lot, but a couple of people that I saw use this foundation. They actually only used it as a foundation, not as a concealer. So I have some sort of dual fiber foundation brush. And I found that, yes, you can make up and downwards motions like this, but the quickest way is to just make circular motions. And you can see it spreads out very easily. And it doesn't seem to be taking away any coverage where you go over a couple of times. So there you have it. I feel like it gives a natural finish, which I think it was supposed to do. It's not dewy, that it's definitely not. It's a little bit more matte than it is dewy, but I would call it natural. So there is a little bit of a sheen, but mostly I feel like it's even pretty powdery feeling. So it's not a very wet feeling. Even in the stick it feels a little bit powdery, but I kind of like that. And I feel like this stick is really mess free and really easy to use. So this is one small layer or thin layer. At this point, I would like a little bit more coverage right here. Now, I would usually use a color corrector for those areas, so it's not completely fair. And then also I have this little, or not quite so little, birthmark over here. And I do want to see what the coverage will be if I add a second layer on top of that. And otherwise, I feel like it's pretty good. But this is a stackable foundation. That's what the lady in the store told me. So you can build it up. And it should look almost equally as natural. And if this works well as a 2-in-1 product, concealer and foundation, that'll be a game changer for me, because I do my makeup on the train all the time. I have 20 minutes and it has to be done by then. And I like to do a little bit of eyeshadow as well. So this might actually save me a lot of time if it works. But of course, it could be way too drying to use as a concealer. Actually, you see, there's a little, you can see a little bit left of this birthmark, but it'll probably be covered up by bronzer. And then the blueness in the inside of my eyes got a lot less as well. Okay, this feels pretty nice. And this feels like I wouldn't be needing to set it. Like I said, I did a long wear test yesterday. I will do a wear test today as well. It's already pretty late in the day. It's 3 o'clock. But I will keep this makeup on until 11. And we'll do more of a shorter wear test to see whether it works in this way as well. All right, let me add a couple of cream products. My Makeup Revolution Cream Bronzer in the shade Light. And since I did, I'm not sure if you can see, but I did green eyeshadow with a red liner because I have little strawberry earrings and a strawberry headband. So the theme is strawberries for today. So I'll do one of these cream blushes. I haven't tried both of these yet, or either of these. This one seems to be very red. This one seems to be a little bit more peachy. I think I'll go for the e.l.f. I had to try one of these e.l.f. camo blushes, and I picked a pretty vibrant shade. This is not part of the review, but anyway, this is the shade Coral Crush. Now I'm actually a strawberry. This is super cute. Why can't we wear makeup like this? Okay, that's pretty nice. That's actually perfect. And then I also have this cream highlighter stick from Max and More. This is an Action brand. I had to. I don't know why. I just wanted to. This is the shade. It's the holographic stick in Electric Love. Now, I'm not a real big fan of highlighter sticks, but let's try it. See, if you don't have to set your concealer or your foundation, you can actually, I at least can use liquid and cream products a lot easier because I like them to be the final layer, but they usually don't work on top of powders. So if you don't have to use powder, oh, this is actually really nice. It's subtle. It's a little bit subtle. But actually it's also just really, 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 really nice. I just used the Benefit Microfilling Brow Pen and the L'Oréal Paris Brow Lamination to fill in my brows. And then for lips, I have this gloss from NYX. It's the Butter Gloss Bling in the shade Dripped Out. And I think it'll be nice. Right, and that's the finished makeup look. All in all, including talking, filming, everything in between, I've been filming for 19.5 minutes and I've done a full face and I'm actually very happy with the way this looks. I feel like because of the double layer and because of course, the products that I added later, I do have a lot of brightness right here, but it still looks pretty fresh and natural. At this point, there's really no creasing. Well, there's a little bit right there, but honestly, that's just my eyes. That's just that. It looked the same way yesterday as well when I used the different concealer with my powder and everything. That's just something that happens really quickly with me. And it actually looks it looks a little bit more shiny than I thought. So it's nice. It's a true natural finish. Now I'm gonna start the wear test. I will do a quick update in between as well, showing you whether this face holds up or not. If it does, I've truly hit the jackpot for finding a new favorite foundation. But let me tell you a little bit about my experience yesterday. So I put on my foundation at 11. Yeah. So that's when I started the part of my face that was the foundation. I used a primer. So I used the foundation in the way that I would preferably use any foundation. So since I knew it wouldn't be very glowy, I used the glowy primer, which was the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin, which actually did make the product glide on a little bit more easily even, but this was okay as well. But that was a perfect primer for it. Then I used the foundation only as a foundation, and I used, it's not here right now, the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer on my under eyes. And I set that whole thing with the Huda Beauty loose powder in Cherry Blossom. And then I used powder products on top, powder, bronzer, blush, highlight, and I didn't set the face with anything else. So that would be my preferred routine usually, and that lasted. Oh, it lasted. I have some footage here from the halfway point, and you can see that it doesn't look very dry. It doesn't look very shiny. It actually looks exactly the same as when I applied it. And it's honestly amazing. The only thing that I noticed then, but that will probably also happen with any foundation, is that my smile lines, I smile a lot. And you know, I'm not the youngest. I'm 31 actually. So you can see a little bit of right there, that one. You can see that quite easily, and you could even see it with the powder and everything. But then I also felt like it looked a little bit dry right here, where my skin is probably the driest. It just looked a little bit thick, and it looked like the powder really wouldn't have been necessary. That was my takeaway from it. It wasn't really the fault of the foundation, it was the fault of the powder. So that kind of got me thinking to do this wear test today. And now let me show you the footage from, I think it was 2 o'clock at night, right before I took my makeup off. And honestly, it still looks so good. I mean, judge for yourself. But around my nose, it got a little bit more shiny. And also on my chin, but I kind of like a little bit more shine. And then right here on my cheek, where I think is the most normal skin that I have, it just looked quite the same. It didn't look very dry. It didn't look very glowy. This is a natural foundation and it stayed natural. So now what I really want to find out is whether this is only the foundation or whether it's the combination of the products. That's why we're doing the wear test today, to see whether the results are the same when I don't set it with powder. So I'm gonna leave you here. Bowie, do you want to make a little appearance? He's sleeping. There. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you here and I'll check back with you in a couple of hours. Hello, it is now 7 o'clock, which means that we are at the halfway point for today's wear test. And I'm just so impressed. I keep looking at myself in the mirror. I also put on a red lipstick by Chanel. It's a Rouge Coco Flash, I think in the shade Alive, which I think is really pretty. And it matches the eyeliner. But honestly, I feel like this looks better than it did 4 hours ago, honestly. And the little things that I was worried about, one being my smile lines, it actually looks better than yesterday. I feel like yesterday, pretty much immediately after I set it with powder, the line became visible. And it stayed that way, it was fine. But now that I didn't put any powder on, and I didn't touch it at all, I just feel like it's even less visible. And also underneath my eyes, yes, you can see a little bit the lines. I didn't touch it at all, but it's not more than yesterday. And I feel like if I would do like this, maybe you would have to do that once or twice during the day, and then actually you can't see a thing almost, just except for the line that is naturally there. It's just a little creased, but I don't think it's ugly and it doesn't really gather there at all. There's a natural glow, which I do think is a little bit stronger than it was 4 hours ago, but not too much. I kind of like it. So yeah, I'm curious how this is going to hold up. It might be the type of look where you start off like this and then at the 8-hour point you do need to powder a little bit, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So I'll see you in a couple of hours. Hi, it is 10 o'clock and since I went to sleep so late last night, I really want to take my makeup off and go to sleep a little bit earlier today. So I think I'm gonna call it right here after 7 hours. So this is what we're working with. I'd say it still looks pretty flawless. It's just, it's getting a little bit more oily. So I find that interesting that yesterday when I did the wear test with some powder and powder products on top, it never really got oily. And it also never really got less dry enough. I don't know if I'm making sense, but it stayed a little bit dry looking to me. But now without any powder, it definitely turns slightly too oily. So I feel like the perfect medium would be to do it like this, and then as soon as you start noticing, especially here my nose and like around my cheeks and stuff, if it starts to get a little bit too shiny, just add a little bit of powder whenever that's necessary. So I feel like with me that was about the halfway point, that maybe a little bit of powder would have been nice, just a little touch up, but not from the start. And then my other conclusion is that this works fabulously as a concealer. Actually, I never have a concealer that looks this good after this much time, especially because it still looks kind of glowy and natural, which is something that I really like. So yeah, I feel like the medium road between yesterday and today would be best. I also wanted to add just a little bit, just in case I didn't make my point clearly enough that I love this foundation. I walked through the rain yesterday and today and unfazed. It's just, it's incredible. You really don't see anything of it, especially yesterday. It was raining, well, not hard, but hard enough that it definitely drenched my face a little bit. And you couldn't see it at all. I forgot to mention it, but yeah, yesterday was a pretty good wear test. And today, yeah, I'd say it's a little bit different than how I started, but I wouldn't be ashamed to go out with this. I feel like it looks kind of pretty. It's just probably slightly too glowy for me to actually do it. But honestly, there's no wear and there's no creasing. There's less creasing than yesterday. So that's my conclusion. I love this foundation. I feel like it's going to be my staple because it's only one product and I have foundation, concealer. I don't need powder. It's going to be so quickly for my bridge evenings and my makeup in the train and stuff. And honestly, this has felt amazing all day, especially today without all the powders. It feels really comfortable on my skin, especially now in the winter. So I feel like I've discovered a whole new way of doing my makeup. So with that, I'm gonna leave you here. I hope you enjoyed this slightly more primitive filming approach that I did today, but I just wanted to get this video out. Happy New Year, and hopefully I'll see you next week.